when Luke learned to fly a TIE fighter. How and why did Luke Skywalker end up piloting a TIE fighter? That's today's underrated moment. Luke dashed through the now empty yet claustrophobic Star Destroyer corridors, donning a stormtrooper helmet atop his rebel pilot uniform. It was just a short time after destroying the first Death Star. He, Han, Leia, and a squad of rebels had boarded an abandoned Star Destroyer and were using it for a clandestine mission. They were all nervous. The Star Destroyer was severely damaged and was lumbering through space at a snail's pace. If any Imperials caught them, they would surely board the vessel in an attempt to repair it, and the rebels would be hard-pressed to fight back against a fully crewed and fully operational battleship. Luke was worried about this as well, so when he heard an anomaly was showing up on the scanners, he raced quicker through the halls. Luke brushed past Sana on his way. She was a smuggler from Han's old crew, who had joined the rebellion recently. She had been left out of any decisions with the crew so far, and Luke barely had time to stop or process her question when she asked if she could help him. Quickly, he responded with a question of his own. "That depends, Sana. Ever fly a TIE fighter before?" And just like that, Luke and Sana floated out of the Star Destroyer into the void of space aboard 2 TIE fighters. Despite his intuition as a pilot, Luke still needed some real-world instruction every now and then, but he was getting used to the very responsive, almost paper-thin enemy craft. Sana, of course, being a weathered smuggler, had experienced all kinds of craft, whether stolen, earned, or happened upon. Her stories illuminated Luke, as the now former farm boy inquired about her experience on Coruscant, a planet whose infrastructure, culture, and population was nothing like Tatooine, the only planet he'd ever known. The tales of the buildings, people, and architecture excited him, never seeing anything of the sort in his so far sheltered life. Despite not being the type to become a smuggler like Sana, Luke craved that kind of adventure. As they both floated calmly through space and the enemy fighters, Sana started to see a sensitive side to the courageous but reserved Jedi apprentice, bonding over the fact that Tatooine really held nothing for anyone. Skywalker quickly made one thing clear. He didn't join the rebellion just for something to do. He joined because it was where he belonged. Everyone in the Alliance, even Han Solo, he considered family. That specific name rang foul in Sana's ears. Having a love-hate history with Solo, in a past life when Han was still a wild smuggler, he had taken off with Sana's cut of a heist. She was still trying to forgive him for that, so she warned Luke to be wary of Han. "I wouldn't go calling Han Solo your family if I was you. That doesn't tend to go well for people, believe me." The entire time she tried to make one thing clear. She was a smuggler, and she was only cooperating with the rebels so that she could get back the money that Han had stolen. But Luke wasn't buying her cynicism. If she was really just after money, then there were easier ways to get it than joining a risky rebel mission, just to keep an eye on Han Solo so he didn't run off again. Sana wouldn't admit it, but maybe she had also found a family here in the rebellion, or at least was starting to find friends. After a moment of contemplation, Sana's guard went straight back up. Luke made a very valid point, and although he was young and not as experienced as Sana, he clearly could see through her tough facade. Not letting her true feelings known, she sternly said that her reason for staying was well known. It had nothing to do with feelings, but getting money back from Han. Her demeanor had proven headstrong and unrelenting in her time with the rebel group, so she played strictly to a type. But somehow, Luke could read her like a book. Something tells me there are easier ways to make a payday. And just as quickly as she'd softened to the boy, Sana was back to misunderstanding him, telling him that he wouldn't understand, when it was clear that he probably understood more than her. Luke let it go. They were out here, aboard these TIE fighters, because they had a mission. Something had appeared on their scanners, and they needed to investigate what it was. Luke communicated back to the rebels that the mysterious ship on the scanner had been spotted, but it appeared to be one of the Alliance's own cruisers. In fact, it seemed to be a shuttle from their missing admiral. Absent since the space battle that gifted them with the Star Destroyer, Sana and Luke were confused as to why the ship wasn't responding. Leia had reached out to the ship on rebel frequencies. Even though Leia was aboard an Imperial Star Destroyer, the approaching rebel vessel should have easily known that Leia wasn't actually an enemy. Something was wrong. As the ship careened closer, the answer to that perplexing question was soon answered, in one of the most horrifying ways. Speeding towards them, the ship had a particularly ghastly ornament tied to the front of it. Their missing rebel admiral. He was frozen to death. With no life detected inside the ship, This deadly runaway train was clearly a dark message from the Empire. They knew the rebels had stolen their Star Destroyer, and they had paid them back by stealing a rebellion ship of their own. Thinking quickly, Sana shot down the shuttle, with the dead Admiral in tow. Now, even more confused, Luke demanded to know Sana's reasoning. This time, it was her with the smarter foresight. That was clearly the Empire telling the rebels that they knew where they were, and now they were not alone. If it hadn't been destroyed, there could have been a full-on collision between that cruiser and their stolen Star Destroyer, leading to the death of many more rebels. Though enraged at the sight of their missing admiral's death at the hands of one of their allies, and one he'd reached a personal level with, there was nothing Luke could do. She was right. Luke's time piloting the enemy TIE fighter was short-lived. He would soon have to turn back to the rebellion's stolen Star Destroyer and face down an old enemy from his days on Nar Shaddaa. But for a few moments while flying alongside Sana, Luke once again demonstrated his mastery as a pilot and added to his growing knowledge of the enemy and their crafts.